it, and do a great job, I think, Princess. So I'm not saying don't take risks, but take calculated risks. Har ek bachcha is not the same, right? You got to treat everybody equally and differently. So, because in my life I have done multiple things, and each time I've started from zero, because that's the only way you can learn. And the beauty of this world is that you can learn from anybody.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Saloni.
Welcome to Lotus Petal once again. And how has your morning been?
Lovely, lovely. It's a very different experience and very fulfilling experience that such a beautiful school is being built. I think all you children are extremely lucky to be here. I also did something for the first time in my life, which is to plant a tree, and I must say that was a great experience. So thank you for the opportunity.
Anything special that you noticed in the campuses since morning that you would like to mention?
I think all the children look very happy, and so do the teachers. I think all the teachers have these broad smiles, and that is a very, very healthy sign of a good school. So that is first. And second thing is, I think it's a very cool place. It's a lovely place, and it's so green all around. And I come from Mumbai, where if there's a little plot of land, people kind of build something on it. So having so much greenery around you, I think, is a luxury, and enjoy it.
I want to tell you that it's really a cool place in other sense also. If you get to spend time with our children, you realize that how quote unquote cool everyone is. Did you also feel anywhere that did our campuses really feel equal yet different?
Yeah, I think it feels very equal. Because I think there are equal opportunities for everybody, and that is what really makes people equal. Because, like I like to say, ability is there everywhere, but opportunity, unfortunately, is not so evenly distributed. Not everybody in this world is that lucky to have opportunity. So if you have access to opportunity, then I think you are lucky. And different, of course, everybody is.
So I just use the word equal yet different. So another fantastic book that ma'am has written is called Equal Yet Different. And it was through this book that I got to meet ma'am and speak to her. It's a very unbiased whole view of the relationship that both the genders have, whether it's at home or work or wherever they may interact. Would you like to say something about that to our little children?
I think the kids here are a little young, but I hope the girls will grow up and read the book. But the teachers, of course, can read the book, and it's really equally yet different. Is what I believe. Women, the way women want to be treated and need to be treated. Just because women are a little different, it does not make them less equal. Unfortunately, a lot of times you find that women don't have the same kind of power at home, same kind of voice at home. कोई पूछता नहीं है ना? मर्द घर जाता है तो लोग पूछते हैं चाय चाहिए क्या? When a working woman goes home, कोई नहीं पूछता है. तो that is why I say कि equal different है हम लोग, हमारी needs अलग है, हमारे challenges अलग है, but I think everybody needs to be equal at work and at home.
I think now we transition and focus more on Anita, from Lotus Petal and from the book and everything.
I've heard so many interesting stories here today that I think my life has been fairly boring.
So let's hear about the boring life and get inspiration from that. So tell us something about where you grew up and how was your growing up years?
Well, to be honest, I was born in a district in Maharashtra called Beed. Unfortunately, Beed is now known for female infanticide. But so I must say I was a lucky one. No, but my father worked for the government, and I was born in Beed, where he had a posting. But most of my life, I've lived in Mumbai, and I must say that I grew up in a very protective family, a sheltered kind of a life. And even a small thing like moving home, can often change things. So I remember when I was in class 7, we moved home to a place which was more centrally located, and buses were available, trains were available, and I had also grown up a little bit. So I remember my first film I think I watched with friends when I was in class 7, because then I could go alone. The place where we lived earlier, I needed a car or a driver or somebody to escort me, because nothing was close by. So something like that, and often you will find कि small opportunity भी ऐसी हो सकती है कि it can change your life. So moving home changed my life. I was a good student, very diligent. I loved maths, and Saloni can't seem to get over it. So, like I was telling the girls in the morning, it's not true कि लड़कियों को math आता नहीं है या फिर उन्हें पसंद नहीं है. A lot of girls are very good at maths. In America, they have started a movement saying कि girls for in STEM courses, yeah. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि लड़कियों को नहीं आता है. The world is different now, or people should learn all these kind of subjects. When you grow up, you should also know how to manage money. All these are life skills. Knowing maths, knowing basic things like that, hona chahiye. So anyway, so I was good at maths, and then one thing led to another. हमारे ज़माने में, although my parents were very supportive of what I did, they were not very ambitious. ऐसा था कि लड़की अगर पढ़े, कुछ काम करे तो ठीक है, और नहीं करेगी तो भी ठीक है. There was no thing like that. अभी तो सभी को काम करना है, कमाना है, अपने पैरों पे खड़ा रहना है. It's not like so boys and girls, और also opportunities बहुत सारी हैं. हमारे ज़माने में it was like either you become a doctor or an engineer or maybe a chartered accountant. वो भी इतने नहीं थे at that time. There were few opportunities. Now, of course, there are so many more. But then I was a slightly determined child. और सडनली ऐसे हो गया कि अभी बच्ची है एंड उसको और पढ़ना है, मार्क्स भी अच्छे आ रहे हैं, तो सडनली पेरेंट्स डोंट नो कि क्या करना है. But I was quite determined, and then I made my way up, and then studied and then got married right out at about 24. And then we thought we would have a normal corporate life. Lekin my husband is, as some of you might have figured out, those are the dangers of having a surname that is not very common. So he got into cricket, and so he traveled the world, and that has again been another life experience that has been a little different.
Okay, important question. Which was the movie you watched in class 7?
I think it was Anurag, Maushmi Chatterjee and...
Anyone knows of that?
No. Their parents also were probably not born.
Anyways.
I'm antique, as I told you.
So, coming from the world you came, how did IIT and IIM happen, and did your family even understand those choices? I mean, back in the day, I think our biggest advantage was that our parents didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah. So that's another interesting story, because my father was in the government and my parents were art students. And both my parents grew up in villages. And I'm not exaggerating. Their early years were all spent in villages. In fact, my father tells a story that the first time he read a newspaper was when he was 15 years old. If my father, if he was alive, would have been about 93 now. But so they grew up in their, in those circumstances, and they had their own struggles. So they knew nothing. They were just building their own life. And when I said I want to go to an IIT, because my maths and physics was good, they said, it's too far away to go to, and 5 years when you are so young. In those days, IIT used to be 5 years, abhi to 4 years hai. So my father said कि I don't have time. I mean, he had very limited understanding कि engineering क्या होती है, engineers के लिए क्या opportunities होते हैं, उन्हें पता नहीं था. So I'm not holding it against him कि उनकी गलती नहीं थी, बस उनकी understanding ही कम थी कि क्या करेंगे, लड़की engineer हो जाएगी. तो he said कि मेरे पास पैसे नहीं हैं to set up a factory for you, तो आप तो CPWD में जाओगे, which is a government job. And he didn't probably think that that was the most that was the best opportunity. तो ऐसे बोल के I didn't go to NIT that time after 12th standard. Eventually मैं गई IIT. I made my way there. And even the IIMs, it was so strange. I didn't know a single person who had passed out of an IIM. और तभी I was already in an IIT and maybe, I don't know, इतने inhibitions थे लड़कियों में that I didn't interact with the boys who were this. So I kind of was very ignorant. ऐसे now looking back ऐसे लगता है मुझे कि ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए. You should find out properly. तो जब आपकी opportunity आ जाएगी कि आपको क्या बनना है, आप अच्छी तरह से find out कर लीजिए. अभी तो the internet is also there, तो don't be as ignorant and stupid as me.
Your determination is inspiring. So जब मैम बोल रहे हैं कि उनको उनके फादर ने आईआईटी नहीं जाने दिया, 5 साल का था और ये आईआईटी बॉम्बे में थी और ये रहती भी बॉम्बे में थी. So it was not like that इनको शहर बदलने का मौका नहीं मिला, शहर के एक कोने से दूसरे कोने में जाने का मौका नहीं मिला. Just to give you all the perspective. So that is the world she was coming from back in the day. So IIM and advertising. Did anyone around you even make sense of advertising?
No, so I was not on the creative side of advertising. I was on the strategic part, which they called account planning. I quite enjoyed advertising because I was a very maths based quantitative, and it was a very exciting time.
So whatever little I understand of you and your simplicity, and whatever little I know that you married your college friend, right? And both of you coming from such simple backgrounds.
Yeah, my in-laws were teachers, so very middle class.
Down to earth, simple. So at that point, did both of you have any idea how life was going to change?
We didn't have any idea of life, to be honest. We didn't have any idea of life. इतना सोचते ही नहीं थे कि क्या करना है, कैसे करियर चॉइसेस करने पड़ते हैं. आजकल लोग इतना डिबेट करते हैं, ऑप्शंस भी कम थे एंड सोच विचार भी कम था, बताने वाले भी लोग नहीं थे आजू बाजू, एंड स्टेक्स वर लो. We were 2 graduates from the best institute in the country, and between the two of us in 1985 we didn't earn even 5,000 rupees. Can you imagine? We did not earn together even 5,000 rupees. So there was no risk in anything. The biggest decision in our life was कि दोनों हम लोग when we used to come late from work, because in advertising you kind of work late hours. कुकर चढ़ाना है या रेस्टोरेंट जाना है, and that also a very simple restaurant very close to our house called Copper Chimney. I don't know whether here you have Copper Chimney. In those days it was known for chana bhatura. So that was the biggest decision in our life कि कुकर चढ़ाना है घर आके या फिर Copper Chimney जाना है.
Going back to your college.
Not Copper Chimney, sorry, it was Cream Center. Copper Chimney to, of course, was like a fancy restaurant. This was Cream Center.
Coming back to your college days, for perspective of children, जब आप IIT में थे तो आपके पूरे बैच में कितनी girls थे?
No, actually ours was the only class where there were more girls than guys in IIT. But in an IIM we were very few. 9 out of 180. 5%. 5% of the batch.
9 out of that number in IIT, and how many in IIM?
That's what in IIM. In IIT we had more girls, I think. So in a class of maybe 30 we were probably about 15, 17 girls. But in IIM we were like 9 out of 180. Very, very different. तभी ज़माना was very different. एक तो parents were not allowing girls to go here and there. And I remember in my time, I lived in Mumbai and I went to Ahmedabad to study because Ahmedabad was the best school in the country. But लोग पूछते थे कि बम्बई में admission नहीं मिला क्या? Why are you sending her all the way to Ahmedabad? तो इतना ignorance भी था, people didn't know so many things, and लड़कियों पे वैसे restrictions थे और बच्चे सुनते भी थे कि क्या parents बोल रहे हैं.
So, what I understand that you are very driven and you try to find your own way in things. So, जैसे जैसे family requirements increased and Sir's other part of his career took off, so you gently had to take a back seat, you know, for the choices of the family and some personal decisions, I'm sure. How did that feel? Like, you know, there was, both of you went to the same colleges, were doing similar things and fighting for the same things outside, but you know, when it was a choice, did it feel natural? Or did it feel natural at the outside, but there was some angst inside?
Oh, actually, what my husband got the opportunity was 1 in a million. So there was no way as a family we were going to let go of it, you know, and that was his dream. So I thought at that time ki if I get a chance later on, maybe he will, you know, take a back seat for me. वो तो हुआ नहीं, because I don't think कि two people in a family getting a 1 in a million opportunity ज़रा probability कम ही है, and so that didn't happen. But he got a chance, and then we decided to go with it. Of course, the kids were small, so I had to take a back seat. There were many things I couldn't do. In those days, flexible timing was not available. You couldn't work half day or things like that. There was no concept of working from home. अभी तो pandemic के बाद तो everybody wants to work from home. ऐसे allowed नहीं था. Also, now all of you have PCs. I saw your lovely labs. हमारे ज़माने में computers had just come in. तो only big companies could afford the big computers, mainframe computers जो कहते थे. And you know, you used to put in a deck of punch cards अंदर. We used to write programs. फिर वो punch करते थे. Then we used to put the deck in the mainframe computer. That also we never saw it. क्योंकि कोई computer operator, we had to hand over the deck and that person would put it in. We never got to see the computer. फिर बाद में, you know, if there was a mistake, you had to redo the whole punch deck. अलग ज़माना था वो. So if you wanted to work something on computers, you had to go to a big company and work. You couldn't work from home. So ऐसे ज़माना था. But I have tried every trick in the book to keep my career afloat. सब कुछ किया, घर से ऑफिस खोला at a time when people just didn't know what that was all about. But anything, and I just want to point out to a statement in the book which has really been the philosophy of my life. Okay, so in both the books I have mentioned this, and listen carefully to the statement. I will explain it to you, but I will tell you what the statement is. Don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. Okay, so don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. So there were many things. I could not work late hours because I had young children. I could not work full time because then you had to, like I explained, I had to go to a big office and work. वो नहीं होता था. Yeah, so I put all those things aside, and then I said, okay, now what can I do? There are some things left. What can I do? And surprisingly, there were many things I could do. So I could be self-employed. I could write. I could, you know, do projects on my own. Many things I can do. And this is something I would really want you to go home and think about. क्योंकि बहुत बार ऐसे होता है कि इंडिविजुअल्स भी और कंपनीज भी ऐसे सोचते हैं कि हम लोग ये नहीं कर सकते, वो नहीं कर सकते, उनके पास तो पैसा है, हमारे पास तो कुछ नहीं है, वो तो बहुत टैलेंटेड है, हम तो नहीं है, है ना? And then it becomes like an excuse and we feel very negative about it. कि अरे everybody else is luckier than me, everybody else is, you know, richer than me, everybody else, somebody is taller than me. If Sachin Tendulkar had thought कि अरे somebody is so much taller than me, अरे somebody has a much better voice than me, that doesn't matter, right? So he worked on what he had. So you have to think about what you have rather than what you don't have. And so every time I had constraints, I thought, okay, these are things I cannot do. What am I left with? So think about it when you go home. Okay?
Sir has said in many places recently, launch of Equally and Differently, I'm reading about that he was able to do what he was able to do because of the silent sacrifices you made without him even he didn't even realize that that was happening at the background and he was so effortlessly going into it. Would you like to share something, because I'm sure everybody would want to know how did that shift happen and he finding his path, his finding his dream, and how did life change for you guys?
I'm happy that you didn't use the word sacrifice. Sometimes people say you sacrificed. I don't think I sacrificed. I think I would rather say I compromised. Because when one person does well, everybody in the family benefits. Just say if one of you or all of you study well, the benefit is going to be for your parents, your children, for everybody, right? So I wouldn't say it's a sacrifice. But yes, personally I compromised a little bit on my career. In the sense that I didn't stop working, but maybe I didn't make use of the opportunities that were best for me. But you know, when you have a partnership, then you have to play for each other, not only with each other, but also for each other. So it didn't seem like a big this, and eventually कुछ ना कुछ, like I said, we've always been positive कि क्या कर सकते हैं, you know, let's try different things and something will work out, and it didn't work out too badly. So it was interesting. Yes, I think he was better as a partner at work rather than at home, because if you're not at home most of the time, then you're not part of everybody's daily routine. So often he said कि मैं और मेरे दो sons, we were one group because we did everything together. So I took my boys to the barber, for example, which is not something normally that a father would do. Their first cricket bats, which normally, like, you know, a father would do. I took them and got them to swim, which was something probably in the men's pool that fathers do. So who I say, but he did his bit as well, I think, and we worked our life around that.
So you come from such a traditional Maharashtrian family, and both of you are so grounded in your values. And I can tell that simplicity really is the family's biggest virtue, which from the, you know, as what I when I interact. How did you all keep yourself and boys so grounded? Because जो आपके घर का world है और जो sir के through जो आपकी एक और world है, I mean, what gets bigger than cricket and films in India?
And television.
Now television, but since we know how old you are, I'm just talking about that time when the boys were growing. So how did you all living in South Mumbai in that life keep your home and self so grounded?
So I think there's a difference between how people see you and how you see yourself. And how you see yourself, I think, is more important. We have always seen ourselves as professionals and as middle class people. And being middle class has nothing to do with how much money you have. I think it's something to do with you know, your value system, that you won't throw things and waste things just because you can afford to do it. I still go and buy vegetables every week. I still cook every week because I feel कि, you know, करना चाहिए अपने family के लिए. You are better placed to look after your own family's nutrition and health than somebody who's doing it as a job for you. They might be very good, but then somewhere you should also be involved. So I think that's how we've seen ourselves. Even my husband doesn't see himself as a celebrity. He doesn't, although the world sees him like that. So I think that this helps you, and your parents and your families help you keep grounded.
So going a little off track, but let's say you see in the last few years IPL and T20 that has shot up, and you have all these young stars, young very talented boys who come and then they hit stardom at such a young age, and they invest in things which are more valuable than value centric, like cars and wristwatches and just everything. I'm just speaking for the sake of children to understand, you know, like, so when you look at them, do you have any piece of advice how to stay grounded for the longer time?
You know, we come from a generation which is about living within your means. My husband and I have never taken a loan, for example. कि जितना पैसा है उतने में ही you should live, you know. But now of course loans are available and all that, and people keep doing that. But that is one thing you must remember to do. Also, you know, when your luck is going good, that's the time when you must show that you are a sensible person. There are people in the IPL who will say ki, you know, and many of the players come from not very privileged backgrounds. They come from small towns. Their parents have never seen money like that, probably never will. And it's very easy for it to go to your head ki, "Arey, now to I'm like rich," right? But that is not going to last forever. So a lot of boys are sensible and they will say, "मैं घर बनाऊंगा for my parents, or I will invest," and things like that. But there are many others who, like, you know, said कि I'll buy the fancy car. सड़क नहीं है village में to drive that kind of car, but they want to show off to everybody, and they will wear watches worth so many lakhs and things like that. Now, I think it's important that somebody tells you that, you know, what are the things that are going to last. घर बनाओगे तो, you know, you will this thing for the rest of your life. If you invest and put your children in good schools, that is an investment. So somebody needs to tell them that. But sometimes क्या होता है कि, you know, success goes to your head, and everybody at home also starts treating these people like, you know, अभी ये तो बड़ा हो गया, इतने कमाने लगा है. So he gets a lot more bhav, as we said in Mumbai, and I don't know what you call it, the importance. हाँ, इतना important मिलता है तो बच्चे भी नहीं सुनते हैं किसी का. But yeah, you have to listen to people who tell you sensible things कि invest करो, long term के लिए रखो, don't just spend. I mean, of course success is to be enjoyed a little bit. I'm not saying कि you know, you should be one sadhu and not enjoy, but don't just waste it.
So, coming back to everybody's favorite topic, cricket. What has cricket taught you?
Oh, lots of things. The game as such, I think the biggest thing is that one day you're up, the next day you're down. Especially in the IPL, you know, you will find कि आज जीत गए, कल हार गए. So let it not go to your head. So that, I think, is the biggest this thing. Also, being a team player is what I talked about earlier. What I learned from my husband, though, is passion. I don't think till then I was passionate about anything, but just that feeling that, you know, somebody is totally consumed by something is a great idea, and I can see that, you know, in Koshal and Saloni. I think they are totally immersed, totally consumed by making this school a beautiful place for all of you. And that is something, if a person can find that kind of passion, then you're very, very lucky.
You know, success की अपनी stages होती हैं. So, you know, for something is a success for the other. But, you know, even accomplishing small tasks for young children, when success strikes you, what are the things one should be cautious of?
This whole thing that you said कि अभी हो गया, this feeling that you have arrived, you have made it, अभी तो मुझे ये मिल गया. That is a very dangerous thing, because then you stopped working hard, your focus goes away, your energy gets spread over different things, आपको distraction हो जाती हैं. So that is a big danger, you know, that success brings with it. So one has to be careful, because there's always lots to learn, lots of mountains to conquer.
What is, you know, the other book that I've really enjoyed reading and watching some videos of you and Sir speak is The Winning Way. If you have to describe the winning way in simplest words to the audience, what it would be?
The first thing is, I would say, one of the thoughts over there, the main thought is, winning is not about being number one. It is being the best version of yourself. मतलब how good you can be yourself. Competition खुद के साथ है कि how can I improve. आज मैं जो हूँ उससे मैं कैसे बेहतर हो सकता हूँ या हो सकती हूँ. It's not about who stood first in class. Because some people are good at math, some people are good at something else, some people are good at something else, right? And if you are not good at art, like I am not, I can never beat somebody who is good at art, right? But how much can I improve myself? That is what success is about. That's the first thing. Okay. Second thing is there are, whatever you do, whether you're running a school or you're running a business or you are playing cricket or you're in a reality show, whatever it is, whatever you're doing, you need three things to do well. Three things. And so the formula is universal. Jo bhi aap karo, if you have these three things, then you will probably win. The first thing is talent or ability, right? Can you draw? Can you bat or bowl? Can you sing? Can you do maths? Can you do computer coding? All this is ability, talent, correct? वो तो, if you want to do well, वो तो ज़रूरी है, correct? But more important than that is what we call attitude. Okay, attitude का मतलब क्या है? Let's break attitude into three parts. One is say work ethic. मतलब आप 100% देते हो कि नहीं, जो भी काम करते हो आप मन से करते हो कि नहीं. बिकॉज मन से नहीं करते हो तो बाद में रिग्रेट होती है, अरे आई कुड हैव डन बेटर देन दिस. ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए. एग्जाम में यू गो फुल्ली प्रिपेयर्ड, देन वॉट एवर यू गेट. बाद में ऐसे नहीं ये क्या, अरे आई कुड हैव डन बेटर, आई शुड हैव स्टडीड मोर. वो रिग्रेट नहीं होनी चाहिए. गिविंग 100%, वर्किंग हार्ड, बीइंग डिसिप्लिन्ड. और डिसिप्लिन का मतलब है यू डोंट स्टडी जस्ट फॉर द एग्जाम्स और you study sometimes, you don't study sometimes. ऐसे नहीं, consistently आप अगर you are putting in hard work. That is the second part of work ethic. And the third thing is like how whether you can learn from failure. कुछ लोग ऐसे करते हैं कि somebody asked in the morning कि मुझे डर लगता है एग्ज़ाम का. If you fail, you should learn from it कि why did I fail and then next time you do better. Failure is not like death. कोई मरता नहीं है failure से. It's not like death. Okay, you will get another chance and you have to learn कि what happened this time. I didn't work hard enough, I got too stressed, I didn't sleep, whatever it is. So that is the first part of attitude. Second thing is, and I think it's going to be very important as you go ahead, you should be able to work with others. Sometimes people are very selfish कि मेरा काम हो जाए बाकी तो ठीक है. No, you should be able to work with others. आप प्रोजेक्ट्स करते हो स्कूल में, ग्रुप प्रोजेक्ट्स, you should be able to work with other people and remember that is a skill that is going to be very important. When you go to work, you will most often you will have to work in groups. You should learn to work with people. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is integrity, honesty. Because there's no point in winning if you can't sleep well at night. Do an honest thing. So these are the three things I would say are important from the winning way. Sorry, am I giving very long answers?
No. We are here to hear you and to get a break from work and class. So there's something very interesting that you speak about in the winning way, and I would, for the sake of the team, why is it that some teams always win?
Because they don't, well, they give it everything. They are committed to doing well. They play as a team and they don't take success for granted. कि हाँ, हम तो जीतेंगे. If you go with that attitude, फिर मिलती है because then you don't practice well enough and you don't give enough importance to the other team कि वो भी ठीक से खेल सकते हैं. That they also might have practiced well and come. बहुत बार ऐसे होता है. So that is why they win.
Your work for over 20 years has been about success. Can you tell us about a few things one needs to do really well?
So that's what I said. These three things really are the combination: ability, attitude and passion. That is the third thing which I didn't tell you about. The first is, and you see any musician, business person, social worker, anybody, these three things will be there. Ability to honi chahiye, attitude most important, and on top of that passion. Because we've done a lot of work in sport, I can tell you people like Sachin Tendulkar were always the last person to leave the practice. Very, very passionate. He used to go to sleep with his bat. And you will see that with everybody. I mean, Ustaz Zakir Hussain tells you the same kind of stories. Business people are thinking about their business all the time, and people think that passion means you have to be a film star, a musician or something like that. No, you can be passionate about the work you do, whatever the work you do. So these are three things that you need.
How big an advantage is privilege?
Earlier it used to be. I don't know whether some of you follow cricket, because I have followed cricket, but the captains always used to be the princes and the rich people. And not only in India, even in England, where cricket was born, जो captains बनते थे वो privileged class में से होते थे, the people who were noble people. Pakistan में आप देख लीजिए, there are so many poor people, but the captains are always people who have been, or at least were for a very long time, English speaking, जो England में जाके पढ़े हुए थे, for a long time they were like that. अभी नहीं है ऐसे. Now you will see a Dhoni, you will see a Sehwag, you will see a lot of people, you see so many film stars, you will see so many people in reality shows, for example, आप अगर देखते हो, then there are people who come up on the basis of talent alone. And so we are in a world now where if you have the talent, even in startups for example, if you have a good idea, if you have talent, somebody will back you, somebody will put in paisa. So privilege is not that important anymore. Having said that, privilege will give you better grooming. You know how to dress, you know how to speak, you are connected with different people. So, those are the kind of advantages you have. और जिसके पास नहीं है, they should be conscious कि we have to work on these things. कि I have to learn all these, I have a little more to learn on this, because finally वो important है. The kind of image that you have in the world, that is important. But yeah, otherwise privilege will open a few doors, but if you don't have substance, if you don't have things, then it's not going to take you far.
So privilege can give you a good head start.
Yes.
But what will take you to the finishing line
is your own.
What you're getting from privilege, you can also learn eventually.
And your self-belief, how much you can back yourself. खुद में कितना, what do you say?
Dam.
Not only dam, but vishwas, Atmavishwas.
Some questions for our teachers. Sure. How do you think the role of a teacher has changed over the years?
Oh, plenty. We had teachers who would say, this is what it is. It was the final word. Because we didn't know anything better. The only thing we were learning from was from the teacher. Now things are different, because sabko access hai. You can go on the internet and find out things much more than your teacher can also, maybe, because you know computers better than your teacher often. Very often you do that. So knowledge hai, you can get coaching, you can see videos of everything. खाना कैसे बनाना है video है, cricket कैसे खेलना बनाना ये है. You have lessons on everything you want to learn, you can learn from the internet. So teacher का importance in that sense, not importance maybe, but the teacher is not the only source. So for the teacher, I think ये realization बहुत important है कि I also need to continuously learn. हमारे ज़माने में teachers used to do their whatever degree, B.Ed and stuff like that, and that's it. Now I have taught history for so many years. Abhi, I know it. I have taught maths for so many years. I know it. I don't need to this thing. Now it's not like that anymore. That's what I feel. Okay, and the students also now are the kinds who challenge, right? Of course, and we have encouraged them to speak, so they will stand up and challenge and say ऐसे नहीं है. So the second thing I think what teachers should remember, and I would, because I have been a teacher to my children, is it's okay to say I don't know. I will find out. It's okay to say I don't. So I think these are two big challenges and two big changes for teachers. They will be able to tell more, but I think as whatever little teaching I have done, that is what I feel.
Any learnings for teachers? How can they get better?
To be students of their lives.
Yeah, that was my next question. Do you consider yourself a student or a teacher?
Always. Because in my life I have done multiple things and each time I have started from zero. Because that's the only way you can learn. And the beauty of this world is that you can learn from anybody. So currently I am learning from my children, and every day I have this realization that they know more than me in many things. इतना change हो रहा है world कि every day there is something new to learn. So unless you are willing to learn, you will get left behind. So everybody must have that willingness to learn and willingness to learn from anybody. You cannot say, oh I am older than you, so I know more than you. नहीं होता है. You can learn from children, you can learn from your colleagues, from other friends, from anybody.
Finally, so your book, Equal Yet Different, in the first year itself was hitting the charts, and it was considered to be like getting parallels with the, what Become was doing to Michelle Obama in America. Equal Yet Different was getting parallels of that. That's what I had read. So having said that, how does it feel like all these years of being in the shadow at the backdrop, and suddenly now, even Sir, I see his social media handles have equally a different picture. So now, besides feeling very good and elated and everything, how does it really feel? Like the time has come, or like it's my second innings?
Not really. I mean, I just wrote it from my heart, and like I said, there's no particular this thing saying that I wanted to sell so many copies or whatever. Basically, I just wanted to make a little difference. I was in a good position to reach out to a lot of successful people. Life has been very kind, and so I know a lot of people who have done well. So it was easy to interview them, and the whole idea is to give back to the younger generation, because I feel that now we have so many successful women that they deserve to know कि क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, क्या हो सकता है, क्या गलतियाँ होती है. So I think it's a time to give back. That's why I wrote the book.
Great. So I think we have a lot of questions in the audience. So maybe we could start taking some of those. Vishal, will you help me? Yeah. Who wants to go first?
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Nancy. I study in class 8. I want to become a doctor, and how can I be a successful?
How can you be a successful doctor?
Yes, ma'am.
I think first you become a doctor and then give it all you have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Myself Akash.
Akash?
I read
Yeah.
in class 8. My question is that you started your career in advertising and move on to consult and motivational firm. What motivated or directed you to do this?
Like I said, I did whatever was possible at that stage in life. Whatever I saw as an opportunity. There were many things I couldn't do, like I said to you. And so at one stage, I was in advertising and fairly senior, but I couldn't travel. We had 7 offices. फिर मुझे ही लगा कि अभी how much can I tell the company कि I can't travel, I can't do this. But at the same time बच्चे छोटे थे तो I couldn't go. So then I thought कि if I'm on my own तो फिर थोड़ा flexibility मिल जाएगी, So my husband and I decided कि okay, what are you good at, what am I good at, तो दोनों का pool करें. and that's how I kind of started. And we never thought कि इतना successful हो जाएगा. Every time we've said करके देखते हैं, let us see what is lost, right? And we had no investment in that. It was just a skill based initiative. तो ठीक है, करके देखते हैं, नहीं चला तो नहीं चला, ठीक.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Tanya. My question is, I am a big fan of Swati Malhotra. Have you met her?
Okay. Smriti Mandana? No, I've never met her. I'd love to meet her. I'll say hello to her from you when I meet her. She is doing very well and she'll be very busy with the IPL now.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Myself Priya. I study in grade 8. My question is to you. Have you met
Yes, I have, but I can't say I have had a long conversation with him. I have had conversations with a lot of people, but not so much with Virat Kohli. I think he's a great player. Why do you like him? Tell me.
I like it because it's a style.
His style is style of what? Dressing or playing?
I'm playing.
Playing. So do you cheer for him when he is not doing so well? Oh, good.
What does the title of your book, Equal Yet Different, actually mean?
See, it's about women and careers. Yeah, Sohan. So basically, it is about how women are a little different in the way they have to, challenges they have. Like women bring up all the children, women do most of the work at home and stuff like that, right? So they are different, but yet you need to treat them equally because they are equally capable. So that's basically what it's about, that we need a slightly fairer world for women, because currently I think they're shouldering more responsibility than they should, and so they are being denied opportunity. So that's basically what it is.
So ma'am, between the three forms of cricket, hi Ravi, one of the change makers, between the three forms of cricket, one day, T20 and test cricket, which one do you like the best?
I like T20. I don't have the patience for test matches. One days also I think tend to kind of drag in between. But T20 is fun, it is more result oriented, so it's more exciting. I just like T20.
Probably unlike the New Zealand, England 2 days back, otherwise it
T20 always has something new. Every year you have, new shots, new ball, something new. I find it's fun, yeah.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
So this is Sonam Sharma. Actually, I was reading your book earlier. So I just want to know that why have you chosen this title only, that equal yet different. So when I was reading your book, I got to know somewhere we are just talking about women empowerment, right? Or we are just talking about that how to give the opportunity to the women people. So how did you get this topic?
How did I get it? Okay, so there is a story behind why the title. So it was actually a quote by Steve Waugh, who used to be captain of the men's cricket team in Australia, and he basically said that as a leader you have to treat your players equally and differently, and I think that's a very valid thing even for teachers. कि हर एक बच्चा is not the same, right? You got to treat everybody equally and differently. तो किसी बच्चे को मिलता है maybe 3 out of 10 in an exam and somebody else is getting 8 out of 10. तो favoritism नहीं होना चाहिए. So that's what he said, that everybody is different. Somebody would like, you want somebody to improve. Sometimes you scold the child or scold the person and say, what is this? Why have you not performed, or why have you not worked hard? So that child can say, okay, next time sir I will do better. There are some who just needs, koi baat nahi, you've not done so well, next time you will improve, do better, ye. So maybe somebody responds to something like that better. So every bacha is also different, everybody in a team is different, right? So you have to treat everybody equally, favoritism nahi hona chahiye. And you can't say, acha, you are my favorite, ghar jao, ya phir whatever, I'll help you more or anything like that. So basically that was a thought when he said it, and I thought that it was very correct for women. because like I said to Soham, women are different but they are very equal.
Just curious to know that if, as a person, as a woman, at any point in time you have taken any decision for self or for your family, that today you feel that you could have done it differently, or you want to change it, or you want to reverse it, and anything of that sort. If you can share something.
Sure.
Thank you.
I don't have too many regrets in life, but I'll tell you about one regret I have. When I became 47 years old, I started learning music. I started playing the keyboard because by then my children had grown up. Yeah, I think I should have done it earlier. My first boss had offered to teach me to play the sitar, and I had a sitar. My father had a sitar which he wanted to give me, but somehow, when you are young and foolish, you think कि बहुत time है अभी to do things, and then you are so caught up. काम है, बच्चे हैं, family है, घर है, so many things. So from 47 to 62, now I am kind of, learning the keyboard. And when I think back, I should have done this for myself. If I had started at say 25 or even 30, so many more years I would have got. So that I think happens, which is a small regret. कोई बात नहीं, 47 to 62 I have learnt. If I put in another 10 years, maybe I will get even better. I got my children to learn to swim. Both my children, 45 days each, I sat at the swimming pool while they learned. I didn't learn swimming myself. So sometimes, you must be conscious, you must invest in yourself also a little bit.
I think she's just telling you to have a good time when you're slogging it off also.
No, you must. थोड़ा time, थोड़ा investment खुद में करना चाहिए. We are always giving, and the world also expects women to, be these sacrificing mothers all the time.
So tomorrow is World Engineers Day. Anything you want to tell everyone here who wants to be an engineer? I just remember it's Engineering Day tomorrow. All the girls, STEM, science, maths, boys.
Go for it, and do a great job. I think engineering, it's exciting times for most professions now, especially for engineers. So go for it and change the world, improve the world.
Okay, we'll wrap the afternoon. So what I've picked up is, while winning all the way, as we are winning all the way, we are equal but different, persevering, determined, ready to fall but never to quit. We should never forget to have a good time.
Yeah,
and make simple choices every day to have a good time.
Be honest with yourself so that, you're at peace and you're happy. And you sleep better. Yeah. No jugaad and all. That is always, jugaad is always. Yeah, I mean, people always talk about this and now everybody is glorifying jugaad. I think jugaad is the enemy of excellence. Go for excellence.
Alright. Thank you everyone for being very patient and giving time for having good audience. Thank you so much.
Sorry if I sounded preachy, but then I was answering questions. You asked for it.
Yes. Anything if I missed and if you would like to ask? Oh, thank you.